Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this call. It's Monday evening and it's the 31st of October and it is crypto talk time. And tonight we talk about the longer term views for crypto being on the app. And when you go look at the shorter terms, there are some people still telling us that the bottom is not in and that we still have the low is not the bottom, the low is not in, and that we're still going to have a lower low than what we have currently. But that's up for debate. But tonight we talk about the longer term views for crypto, and they seem to be on the up. And I said on the app again, because we've been there, we've done that, and we returned from that. And I see that Marius lost his background again. He's sitting in his green screen again. Welcome, Marius. Thank you for allowing the people in while we start the call. And so tonight we're going to just have fun, and we're going to look at the market as it is, and we're going to really just go and see what's on the charts. And we have, as usual, our usual suspects in the room, our subject matter expert on crypto trading at the Crypto School, none other than Jason, as well as Marius. We don't have Pip Smith on the call tonight as he's in transit, he's traveling. But let's go to Jason and say, Jason, thank you for being on the call week in and week out, and come and show us what's happening on the charts. And without further ado, let's start. Let's go start looking into the charts and see what's up, where we at, and what's happening. I've seen today, in the middle of the day, I've seen a significant drop off in the shorter time frames. It looked like a severe candle at some point on the 15-minute. But I haven't even been close to the market in the last 4 or 5 hours. So I've just seen that in the early afternoon. Without further ado, Jason, please open the charts and enlighten us.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, absolutely, Daniel. Last week we spoke around emotions and we asked the audience how they felt. There was a lot of frustration, disappointment, anger was the other word that came through. So there was a whole lot of type of emotions last week. I'm sure those emotions have changed slightly with what we've seen in the last week coming through with the crypto market. And if we just start off tonight by just having a look at crypto bubbles for the week, and this is on the top 100 only, we've seen some nice moves in some of these coins, these meme coins especially, on the back of Elon Musk and the Twitter deal. Dogecoin 116%, and I'll see it's actually broken out about an hour ago, went through the next resistance point. Then if we just go through here quickly, from left to AVAX 21%, Phantom almost 20%. There we got another meme coin, Sheep, 24%. Just bear in mind that these coins have also retraced over the last 2 days. There has been a bit of a pullback in the market. DOT 14%, Link 16, nice to see Link coming up here. Chili's 14, Ethereum 17. Ethereum actually made a massive 20, no, it was actually more than that. I think it was like close to 28% move last week. Sand 20, Omi 15. There you got Uni 12, BMB, nice move today, 20%. And we got Atom 22, Theta 30, and then these other coins are Osmo and Clay. And if we just go quickly onto the exchanges, Binance Exchange for the week, there's 1 or 2 other coins coming through here, OP 26, Mask coming through. And then if we go to KuCoin, that's got all the micro alts in there. We see some big moves here. There's Elon's coin coming through at 68%. ENQ almost 200, Mask 121, ABBC 54, DSLA. So a lot more green than red, which is very positive. The other big thing for last week was that if we have a look at the Fear and Greed Index, and this is the index of what the sentiment is in the market, and this dial has been sitting between 20 and 30 for the last couple of weeks. It hasn't moved up there in the extreme fear area. And in the last week, that dial started moving up now. and we're still in fear, but the number's gone over 30, which is great. And if we just go down and just have a look here on the 1-year chart, we can see that from the end of August being really between 20 and 30 and not moving out of that area, and now finally got above sort of 30. So that's quite positive. We have a look at Bitcoin, and last week this time was the 24th, and we were over here at 19,500. There was this white resistance line that came from right back here from June this year and managed to break through here. I think it was on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and gone straight up into a resistance area of 20,700. And you can see price has tried to get through here twice, creating a double top. So when it tries to get through here twice in the same sort of area, that creates a double top. And price is retracing, coming down a bit. I don't think the retrace will be too deep. It could come down to possibly this low here once again at 20, between 20 and 20,100. That is possibly a support area. If I just go and have a look at my other chart here, I have got a green block that I've marked out here at 20,100. If that level of support is broken, then the next support here is 2017 high at 19,800. If we just put a fib here, and Fib Smith is not here, the expert on fibs, but if we just put a fib here and just measure where we could retrace to, 382 is about the number that we look for as a retracement on the way up, and that is there at 20,150. And as I say, if we lose that, that'll come down to 19,858. And if we do get a much deeper retracement to the 618, that'll come down to 19,600. But I think the news coming out on Wednesday, the FOMC meeting where they give us the interest rate hike number, that is going to obviously have a major influence on what Bitcoin does for the rest of the week. And I think the market expectation is that the Fed they come out at 75 basis points, what the market expects. So I don't think we'll see too much of a deep retracement here on Bitcoin currently with the current price. So if we go now and have a look at, first of all, the drivers of the stock market, which is the 10-year yield and the DXY. So the 10-year yield has been retracing now since the 21st of October, the previous Friday. Last week we were up here at 4.22%, and it retraced all the way down to 3.9%. It came down and retested this support line that is going back all the way to August this year. So it's come back and retested that support line. And once the 10-year yield started moving up late on Friday, that really was at the area where the stock market, which I'll show you now, was at resistance. And you can see that there is a bit of a correction happening right now. And similar with the DXY has come from the previous Friday right up at almost 114, retraced all the way down to 109.5, and has now gone up and is now very close to the first area of resistance at 111.80. Now, if we just go and see where it's come from, at the beginning of the year, we were right down at 95 and then started trending up, and then it really started accelerating when the Fed started increasing the interest rates in the United States, causing the dollar to strengthen against a basket of other currencies. And we went right up to 115 hit resistance there. And since the end of September, started trending to the downside. We are in between these yellow lines, which looks like a bit of a bullish flag that is forming at the moment. It's bullish because it is trending down. I do expect it to carry on, possibly trending down and come down to this other white line that comes from the beginning of the year, and we might find support there. But with the DXY coming down, that's obviously been very bullish for the stock market. We have a quick look here at the stock market. First of all, on a higher time frame. So the S&P has been in this downtrend from the beginning of the year, and over the last 2 weeks or so, it has been in this rising channel to the upside. Now, with a rising channel like this, it is normally bearish structure, 68% chance of a break to the downside at some stage. But we could have a situation where the Fed possibly pivots already this week, and that would cause this. I would expect the stock market to actually break out if that has to happen. But nonetheless, currently we are in an area of resistance, as I said, with the 10-year yield of the DXY now starting to move up. We're in an area of resistance over here at the moment. And you can see that there is a bit of rejection happening right now. Not too much. I don't think, as I said, with Bitcoin, I don't think the stock market will retrace too much with anticipation of that Fed rate hike on Wednesday, that the market's hoping for 75 basis points. And then the Dow Jones, similar picture to what we've seen here, the SPX, also at resistance. It's already right at the top of the white line, and it's coming all the way from the beginning of the year. If we see a pivot on Wednesday with the Fed, I would expect us to actually break to the upside here, out of the structure. If we go and have a look at some other charts, first of all, the Bitcoin dominance. So what this shows us is where the cash is in Bitcoin, or is it flowing out of Bitcoin into the altcoins. And we have been in this rising wedge pattern since the middle of September, and actually broke out of here on the 25th of October. Came down to the first support at 41.3 or so, went up to retest the break and has carried on moving down, showing us that the cash is now flowing into the altcoins as the Bitcoin dominance weakens. And I will show you the Ethereum chart just now, just to show you how Ethereum has actually performed over the last. If we have a look at the Ethereum dominance, now we were in a sideways pattern here from the 21st of September till the 21st of October. So for a month, we were sitting on 18% dominance in the total market for Ethereum. And with the breakdown of the Bitcoin dominance around the same time frame, the Ethereum dominance started pushing up, and that has gone back up to the 20%. Now the 20% has been very strong resistance previously, and you can see it's acting as resistance right now. So this history here is just showing us when the ETH merge happened, that event. We actually moved up a bit higher, up to 21%, and then came all the way back down from there down to 18. Now we're hitting resistance here at 20. We move to the total market cap, the crypto market. So 2 weeks ago, we were down the bottom here at 877 billion. And we were in that range, as I said, for that month, and started moving up from there. And from that 877, and went right up to hit this resistance point at 1 trillion. It has got rejected 1 trillion and started coming down again. So we are on support at the moment at 960 billion. But more importantly, if you have a look at this white descending line that comes all the way from December last year, that has been acting as resistance, you can see that this was actually November, 9th of November, this white line started. You can see that you're getting very close to this resistance line. And then the question is that if we start pushing up again, what will this white line do? Will it be acting as resistance like it has previously? Or are we going to get a breakout here through this resistance to the upside? I just want to have a look at the 200 moving average on the weekly, and you can see that we have actually moved up there off that 877, gone through that 200 moving average that didn't act as any resistance at all. And it's great to see that price is now above that 200 moving average. If we go have a look at the total two, now the total two strips out Bitcoin out of the number, and this just reflects really on the altcoins on how they're performing. And similar to the total one, we've moved off an area that we've been on for a month of 515 billion, went up to 600, just less than 600, got rejected, has come down now to support you at 576 and sitting on 576. Similar to the total one, got this white line that comes from November last year, acting as resistance, getting very close to that white line. Will this white line once again act as resistance? And similar to total three, also got that white line coming from November, getting very close to the total three excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum, getting very close to that white line that has previously been acting as resistance. USDT, now this chart indicates where the cash is flowing into stable coins like USDT or into the trading market. And what has happened over the last couple of weeks is that we've moved up into the 7.5 to 8% level. That is very strong resistance, and actually been in there for that month where I showed you most of the coins ranged sideways, and you can see we've actually broken to the downside out of that resistance down to the first support show of 7% and just pretty much trending sideways. So what we would like to see in the next couple of days, and hopefully if the Fed pivots on Wednesday, is a break of 7% to the downside as more cash flows into the trading market. Okay, so that is just a quick overview of what the market looks like. So the question is, where from now? So I'm going to once again just bring up that Wall Street cheat sheet just to remind everybody on what it looks like. And I have also, let me just go to the weekly. If you can remember, I actually put those emotions in here, and I showed you the emotions last week. And we just have a look at the Wall Street cheat sheet. So last year in November, we went right up to 68,800. The news at that stage was really around Plan B, talking about a price in November last year of 100,000 and December 130,000 for Bitcoin. That didn't materialize. We had a push right up to euphoria at 68,800 and then a drop off from there. And we came up to complacency and then all the way down into anxiety, denial. And then we had a panic situation when the lunar crisis eluded, and that resulted in some capitulation. I'll show you that candle now. We came down to 17,600, I think, somewhere around there. Went up to 25,000, got rejected at that resistance, came all the way down to retest that area once again at 17,600 or 17,800. I think it's slightly higher. And now it looks like we're pushing up into this area over here. And we just have to be very careful in the sense that we're not in a new bull market yet. The only time we'll be in a new bull market is once we have got above 30,000 as a bare minimum. So right now, between now and 30,000, you're definitely not back into a bull market. This is a bear market rally. And we have to be very, make sure we're aware that this market can drop at any time. So I don't think it will drop going into the midterm elections, which happens next week. I think that the ruling party is wanting to make sure that the sentiment is at an all-time high. So I don't think that will happen too quickly. But anytime after those elections, we have to be careful that there is no drop. And a drop could happen if there's any disarray in those elections between the two parties. That could cause a drop. All I'm saying here is that we have to just make sure that we've got our risk under control. So if we go and just have a look at those emotions that I've put in here, there's euphoria that I was talking about at 68,800. We then came down, went up to complacency at 48. We had anxiety to go down to the daily here. We had anxiety and then denial, and then that lunar crisis where we had a panic capitulation all the way down to that 17,600, went up to 25, came back down again, and you can see that price has now gone up to 20,700 over here. So, as I said, I haven't got a crystal ball, but I think the first test will definitely be this 22,000. And you can see this candle here, it hasn't been tested to the upside, the candle of 13th September. So there will be some liquidity here that needs to be captured to the upside. So that's going to be the first resistance point. The next resistance is once again at this 25,338. And if we manage to get through here, 25,338, the next resistance after that is 28,500. And you can see where this has been acting as support in May this year. Pretty much like we saw with this candle of the 13th of May here, that hasn't been tested to the upside. There's a whole lot of candles here sitting at 28,300. There's a whole lot of liquidity here that hasn't been captured either. I'm not saying that it is going to happen now, but it's something that the market is aware of and that we could come up and capture this liquidity here. Only if we get above this level here of 28,500, come here and find support and start moving up, would I say that we're back into a bull market. But the right area to actually confirm that would be the 200 moving average on the daily, and that is sitting at, let me just fix this up here to the daily. So it's come all the way down. So it's at 24,500. So that's null and void. I would only say that once we get above this $30,000 level, find support and start moving up, would I say we are now back into a bull market. So this is just a relief rally at the moment, and we just have to make sure that we have got our stops in place there. So the other thing was that the last cycle in 2018, and I'm just going to go into the weekly here and just go back to 2018. So that's 2018, from the high year in December 2018 to the low, also in, sorry, this was 2017 December, to the low of the low point here of that cycle was December 2018, was 12 months. And we are now getting very close to the 12 months from the high that we had in November last year, on the 8th of November. So I think the cycle won't stretch too much longer than sort of 12 months. It might, but I think we, as in the form of time, I think we are getting very close to a bottom here in this current cycle. So I've spoken around the midterm uncertainty. On the CME, now CME is a chart of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So on this exchange, the big whales, the institutions trade in this market, and the CME is only open from a Monday to a Friday. But we know the rest of the exchanges are open 24/7. Now, when this exchange closes on a Friday and reopens on a Monday, sometimes there's a gap between the price that it ended off on a Friday and opened on the following Monday. And those gaps tend to get full over time, where there's liquidity to be captured. Now, if we go back into history, there is a gap sitting between 27,380 and 29, where there is liquidity that has to be captured. So I just wanted to show you that, where I showed you that there is a possibility going up to 28,400. There is liquidity up in that area also on the CME, and not just on these candles that I was talking about. Okay, the other point is I follow a well-known trader, Lesio, and he talks around the scenario where you drop below a certain point, and it makes reference to the S&P 500, where the S&P 500 in June came all the way down to hit a low here, this pink line here, at 36,040. And yeah, in October, we actually dropped below that pink line. And what he said was that when you have this type, it's called the kiss of death. And what normally precedes with the kiss of death is a 2-month rally to the upside, and then the bear market resumes after that to the downside. So I highlight that this is actually taking place where prices moved off that below that, from below that 36,040, and is rallying, as you can see, to the upside here above that June low. And also makes reference to the time period of November and December, which is also very good for the stock markets. And this will actually play out over that period, which seems to be happening right now. The other last point that he made reference to was that in a bear market, so with the bull market, there's a thing called Elliott wave, where a market tends to go up in 5, 7, or 9 waves. So you got one wave up, a correction of the second wave, the third wave up, the fourth correction, the fifth wave up. But with a bear market, it normally works only in 3 waves. So you've got a wave up, you've got a correction, the third wave up, and then a drop off from there. So we just have to have a look here on the way up here and to see where the next correction is going to be, a deeper correction that will signal the second wave down, and then a bigger wave to the upside, which will be the third wave. So that is it for me, Donnie, for now.
Cool, Jason. While you have your chart there, is it possible that we can look at the BNB Bitcoin chart?
Sorry, I haven't gone to Ethereum. So yeah, I'll be coming back to Ethereum just now, but we can have a look at BNB.
Because I think that BNB Bitcoin chart, not the USDT
the Bitcoin
chart.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, the BNB Bitcoin chart. That's an interesting chart because BNB is not doing too bad against Bitcoin. And
yeah, so it's been the highest performing altcoin this year. And if we go to look at the weekly, this area of 12,000 sats has been the resistance from May last year until the 25th of July this year, where we broke out of that. And you can see it's hit an all-time high here. Let me just go to the daily chart today. Today it's hit an all-time high of gone over 16,000 sats. That's the highest it's ever been against Bitcoin.
And I think that's something that we should take note of, because Bitcoin is, Binance coin is not one of the small coins. It's one of the bigger coins. And to be able to achieve, yeah, I think it's something to take note of.
Yeah, so BNB's rallied 5% today, which is quite incredible. You can see we're at resistance at the moment. So if I just delete all this, you can see the area here that is, there's resistance, here's resistance. So we're hitting resistance here. So the more times you hit an area of resistance, the easier it is to break through, because you got all the sellers here, and the sellers get less and less, and eventually it breaks through to the upside. So yeah, BNB is looking very strong.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. You wanted to say something about Ethereum?
Now I'll come back and I'll show you Ethereum, and I'll just talk around some coins that I think will be moving in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. Allow me to ask Marius, our wealth coach. And Marius is doing a little bit of day trading. Sometimes he's learning something, sometimes he's not getting to doing his homework. But Marius, tell us what's happening in your space.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, we had a great week in cryptos last week with a rise in prices. It was a great week. And as you all know, I'm playing around with a few dollars in day trading. And yeah, I'm working on signals. This is just what we got in our signals. This coin UTK, it took 9 days, but your take profit 2 and 3, 11% and 17%. So that is a good growth. There's a coin called Ray. take profit. What happens is that they give us take profit levels, and where you can take your profits and put in your stop losses and your take profits on either Binance or Qcoin. Yeah, Daniel, we had a good week last week with the growth of the coins, as you can see here. Adero 4%, UTK, yeah, I just showed that to you now. LTO 10%, DYDX 18%, Ray 9%, and Cake nearly 10%. And there's Adero again, take profit 1, 2, and 3 of up to 16%. Yeah, we had a good week last week in day trading. For me, it's great to pay a few dollars and get the signals and make some extra profit. Thank you, Daniel.
Cool. Thank you, Marius. And yes, allow me to just show you this. And I show you this for this headline for this video. And it's a channel called Crypto News Alerts. The mind-blowing reason why Bitcoin could reach 1 million per Bitcoin with a 28 trillion market cap. And I'm busy with that video. But that was part of why we had why we decided on this topic for tonight. And there are people coming back into the market telling us that there's hope again. So the people are coming back with some hope into the market. And until recently, it was all doom and gloom and no one wanted to know anything about crypto. People ran away. They even stopped talking about it. And some channels even discontinued doing news. And we have good news for you tonight, that from next week, we will have Binance back on our Monday evening crypto talk, and they will have a 10 to 15 minute slot. So every Monday evening, we will come and teach you something about Binance. And every Monday evening on the call, we will actually ask you as the community for what do you want to learn on the Binance platform for next week. And we will then tell them that next week we want to learn this. They will come and explain it to us and come and be on our call as a regular contributor. And we look forward to that. And so from next week, we will have Binance back. And it was about a year ago last time that they've been on our call, and they decided that it's time to get back on our call, and they reached out. And so we will have Binance back on our call from next week, and we look forward to that. And with that said, Jason, let's conclude the session. Go back to your charts and show us the coins that you would still like to discuss. And let's look at your charts.
Thanks, Sonny. So I just want to start with Ethereum. So Ethereum time last week, we were at down here just below $1,350 for Ethereum. And you can see where Ethereum price went to, right up to 1,660. That was on Saturday. So if we take a ruler and just measure that, that was a massive move there of 23% from last week, Monday. Obviously, it's much more if we take the low from Friday, the 21st. So a very nice move in Ethereum, and that represents the Ethereum dominance going up to 20% and the Bitcoin dominance dropping because of this move of over 25% Ethereum versus a move in Bitcoin of only roughly 12%. So Ethereum did almost double what Bitcoin did. If we go into a bigger time frame, we've been in this white falling channel, and that goes back to around about the middle of August that we've been in the small channel. And then we're in a much bigger channel that comes from the beginning of the year. And similar to what we saw with the total 1, 2, and 3, getting very close to that white resistance line, the top here. And the question is, once we get to this white line, will it once again be acting as resistance, or are we going to break through with price to the upside? So Ethereum right now is looking very good. The next thing that I just wanted to point out was that there are some coins that I'm personally looking at. I haven't got a crystal ball to say that they are going to be the best performers in the market in the next couple of weeks. But based on a couple of things, why I've chosen these coins, the first one is called Theta. And there is some news coming out on the 1st of December. It's called the Mainnet 4.0 launch. Now, with these type of events, there's normally quite a bit of upside in the coin prior to the event, and it is normally a buy the rumor and sell the news. So as you get closer to the actual date of the launch, you would actually try to sell out, because the market seems to start dumping as we get into that event. So if we just have a look at Theta, and I'm going to go back into history just to show you where it looks like. And it looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast with all these lines. Apologies for all these lines, but we've come from a price point of $16 in April last year, right down to $1 last week. And if we go on to the 4-hour chart, in the last week, we have come from 94 cents. That was not this Friday, the Friday before that, and went right up to $1.25. So that was a move over a week or week and a half, 33%. And price has retraced since that 125 and come down to the support, the current support of 115. That it seems to be holding support for now. There could be another small drop here going into the next day before Wednesday. I'm using the words maybe. And if we just put a fib here from that low to that high, we could come down to this 382 level of 1. So anywhere between 112 and 115, I would imagine, would be a good buy. And based on that important news coming out on the 1st of December, I think there will be some nice upside coming through on Theta. Is the fuel to drive on the Theta network is called T-Fuel, and T-Fuel works with Theta, and you can see what T-Fuel's done. It's come from a price of 5 cents right up to 7 cents over a week and a half, and that is roughly 40%. If I just use my maths in my head, what's that? Yeah, close to 40%, and you can see it's retraced all the way down to 5 cents. Where's T-Fuel come from? And you can see that in April last year, in June last year, it was right up at 68 cents. We're now at 5 cents. Come all the way down. The news event is around Theta, but I imagine Theta Fuel will also be involved in that. So we could see some nice upside in Theta Fuel. The next resistance is right up here at 15 cents, 15.8 cents. You can see there that was previously acting as support up here, around about 16 cents or so. I would imagine that we could possibly get up to this area. I'm using possibly, and nobody's got, unfortunately, got a crystal ball as to what price is going. So T-Fuel, the other coin. Then we got last year, this time, the gaming coins moved very well. And these two gaming coins that I'm currently looking at, one of them is called Gala Games. And you can see where Gala Games was in November last year at 84 cents. We're now currently at 4 cents. But if we go down onto smaller time frames, and we can see we had a massive move yesterday in Gala Games of 30%. So came from 3.7 cents right up to 4.8 cents. That was 32% in a couple of hours yesterday. Price has retraced, come down, found support on this previous resistance line, which is acting now support that comes over from the 19th of August. So we found a retest there, and I would imagine that we could comfortably move up here, back up, and go and test these higher levels of at least 10 cents, maybe even higher than sort of 7 cents. The other coin that I'm looking at is called PYR, Vulcan Forge, I think it's called, and PYR has also been very bullish over the last couple of weeks. And we've got a massive resistance here of 530 that we need to get through. But above that, the next sort of resistance here is at $8. And you can see where we've come from on the beginning of December last year, right up at $50. And we're now at $4. So some nice upside possibly in this gaming coin here. So while we're on that point, I just want to show you where you find all these coins. And if you go to a website called coingecko.com, and you go and click on under the cryptocurrencies, you click on the categories, and this actually puts all the different coins into certain categories, and you can see what categories are actually moving at the time. And while this opens, the internet has slowed down for some reason, I'm not too sure. Let's just come back to there. The other coin that I want to talk about is a coin called Chiliz. And the reason why I'm talking about this coin is that we've got the Soccer World Cup coming up now on the 20th of November. And Chiliz is involved with all these fan tokens. And if we can get through this current level here at around about 22, 23 cents, there's some nice upside to be had with Chiliz. And I think a good sort of target, if the market allows us, would to be getting up to this area around up at 60 cents. Possibly get up to there in a couple of weeks' time. If we can get through this current area that we're in here, you can see has previously been support and now acting as resistance is 23 cents. So Chiliz is also a decent coin, I would imagine. Now, if we go back to that CoinGecko and we scroll down, we got the categories by market cap. So it ranks it. You can then go and put your own filters on. And for example, like on the 7-day here, you can actually rank it from the biggest move down to the smallest move. And you can see what's happened here. The meme coins that I was speaking about, Dogecoin, that category has gone up 74% over the last 7 days. And then we go down to these other categories, liquid staking, etc., etc. And you can actually go into the respective category and then do a further filter where you can filter out what coin has moved the most over that period. And I spoke around that Dogecoin has done 114% over the last 7 days, but these other coins have done more. You've got this one up, I've never heard of it, 148, Spaldock, 121, Binance, Pig, Dogecoin, and you can actually rank it there. And you can even go and rank it by 24 hours if you wish, or even for 1 hour. So 1 hour will give you a good indication of what coin is starting to move that you could possibly look at. But it's a very good idea to have a look at the categories on a daily basis to see what categories are actually moving. And you just go into the 24 hour and just rank it from the highest to the smallest, and you can see what coins, what category is actually moving for the day. And then you can actually drill it down per hour if you wish to, just to see which one is moving. And what is great here too is that I spoke around those gaming coins. They haven't really started moving yet. The Gala coin only started moving yesterday. And if we just go down and look at gaming, for example, you go into that gaming and you can see that on a 7-day, we've got a coin here, Compete 102, then it goes down to 50, Flocky at 48, etc., etc. But keep an eye on these gaming coins. I think they will start moving this bull market, not bull market, this bear market rally resumes. I think some of these gaming coins are going to actually move. And then the other coins to look at is these fan tokens. I don't know if we've got fan tokens here, but we can have a look here quickly. The fan tokens. You just scroll down. I think I did see it here earlier. I see sports here.
I have not seen them as you paged.
Yeah, I see sports here. Chiliz is sitting there at the second.
Oh, there's the Lazio token. There's a Santos token, the Lazio token, they're all there.
Yeah, they've changed it to top sports from, it was fan, I think, yesterday. And you can see all these tokens that are starting to move here around soccer coming up to the World Cup. So it might be a good idea just to have a look at some of these fan tokens also. So Those are my areas that I will be personally looking at, obviously going into the next 2 or 3 weeks, where I think we're going to see some nice upside in some of these coins. Thank you, Donnie.
Cool, Jason. So you say this time around, we're not just going to be aware of the Soccer World Cup because of the tins of Coke that we buy with the names on. We're now going to find the tokens and we're going to follow the tokens as well.
Absolutely. And some of those tokens are on Binance Exchange themselves. I don't know if you've seen them there.
Yeah, no, I've seen them. I've earned a few Lazio and one other one as well. When I've staked some BNB some time ago when they were launched, and I earned a little of them. Not a lot, but I've earned some of that. So that's why I'm so aware of them. Yeah, thank you for that, Jason. And thank you for always bringing something to the table. Just remember that we want you to go and remind you to go look at our YouTube channel. And YouTube, you just go to YouTube and you find the Crypto School. And we have a lot of video on our YouTube channel. While every week we put our crypto talk on there as well. And we really do that to serve you as the community. And as I said earlier, from next week, we will start having Binance on the call on a regular basis again. And we will next week just introduce the new person, and we will introduce what's happening, just a short overview of what's happening in Binance in South Africa. We all know that we are now again can do deposits from South African Rand into Binance, but Binance is going big on their peer-to-peer, where you buy your crypto from another person that actually holds the crypto, not paying the fees of going through the exchange, but their peer-to-peer counter is $80 million a day, and they're really pushing that, well, worldwide, but they're really pushing that in South Africa. And next week we will be introduced to the person that's our contact at the Crypto School to Binance, and we look forward to that. I know on the 30th of November, the next Binance meet and greet in Pretoria is, and they asked me to be at the event to teach a little on crypto, but unfortunately I'm on another conference already on that evening, so I will not be able to be there, but Marius will meet you at the Binance meet and greet at the Atterbury Theatre on the 30th of November. So already go put that in your diary. The 30th of November, we go to the Atterbury Theatre, 6 o'clock in the evening, to the Binance meet and greet. And this year, I was one of the ones that were drawn to get a Binance hoodie, and you get some prizes there, but it's a lot of fun. And as I said earlier, Marius will be there to meet you at the Binance meetup in Pretoria. But with that said, let's wrap up the program for tonight. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Marius. And let's hear the last comments from each of you. And let's start with Marius and say, Marius, what's your last comment for tonight?
Yes, Daniel, I've been with you at the Binance last week, and I think that peer-to-peer teaching is definitely something that we can do on the Crypto Talk again, because that is great information and a great way to get into crypto on a safe way. So from my side, just keep on keeping on. If I look at the names of the participants, this is really go-getters, and I see there's a few new names as well. But yeah, there's a lot of people that's been in crypto for a long time, and we will definitely see new people coming in when the price of crypto is going up again. So Jason, Daniel, thank you for always being here, and thank you for always serving. I really appreciate you guys. Have a great evening.
Cool. Thank you, Marius. And we appreciate you for being on the call. Jason, wrap up from your side. What's your last comments, your last little contribution with regards to your charts and where you see the markets and the coins and whatever? Your last thoughts for tonight.
Thanks, Daniel. As I alluded, that we are possibly just in a bear market rally at the moment. But there is one thing that I am looking at is the charts, and I just want to show you quickly. And I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart on the weekly, and I've focused on a leading indicator called the RSI. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index, and you actually chart the actual indicator itself to get an indication as to how price is going to possibly react based on what the RSI is doing. Now, what I've got here is I've got the RSI that's been in a downtrend from the end of December 2020, not 2021. We're talking about 2 years ago almost, 2020, that's been in a downtrend. But more importantly, it's in a falling wedge structure. So this is a falling wedge structure. With a falling wedge structure, there's normally a 68% chance of a break to the upside. So it's actually a bullish structure. Even though price has been going down for the last 12 months, the RSI has actually been going down for the last 2 years. But you can see that we are very close to this resistance line here, this orange resistance line, where we touched in December 2020, we touched in November last year, and now we see we're getting very close to that line right now. And we're going to be keeping an eye on this chart, this RSI chart here over the next couple of weeks to see what's going to happen. What is the reaction going to be here with this RSI here over the next couple of weeks? Are we going to get a break to the upside, or we're going to get a rejection once again where it carries on trending into the downside? So overall, on a weekly basis, looking quite positive. That's all from me, Donnie.
Cool. Thank you, Jason, for that leading indicator there. And I think you should just move that line of yours a little because you're pushing that RSI down. I can see it running next to your line. It's all your fault. It's your line. But then again, that is a weekly chart. So that takes so much time to print a candle. But we look forward to that, and we will follow that with you. And thank you for sharing that leading indicator with us. Jason, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Every week in, week out, you just come and you astound us with your charts, and we really appreciate that. And you help and assist us in this time that the market is going sideways, downwards, sideways, downwards. You help and assist us to keep us here, help us educate, so that the moment that we have that upturn, we are in the right space, in the right frame of mind to take some profit off the table and to make sure that we have profit on the table to take. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you, and it's a privilege to serve you. And my apology, I sent you forth with green candles in your week. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye. Cheers.